At 52 years old, James Arthur was sleeping on his brother's couch. No job, no savings, no plan. 3 years later, he was signing the papers to buy the company that fired him. This is not about luck. This is a story about what happens when a man has nothing left to lose. James had worked at the same logistics company for 24 years. He started as a delivery driver. He worked his way up to operations manager. He knew every corner of that business, the suppliers, the routes, the people. He thought that meant something. One Monday morning in March, his boss called him into a room. There were 2 HR people he had never seen before. His boss could not look him in the eye. "We're restructuring. Your position has been eliminated." 24 years, gone in 8 minutes. James drove home in silence. He sat in his car outside his house for almost an hour. He did not know how to walk inside and tell his wife. The next 6 months were the hardest of his life. He sent out over 200 job applications. He got 4 interviews. No offers. Hiring managers looked at his resume and saw a 52-year-old man who had only ever worked at one company. They smiled politely and said they would be in touch. They never were. His money dried up. Then, so did his wife's. They sold the car. Then they sold the house. His wife stood by him, but James could see it in her eyes. The fear she was trying to hide. He moved into his brother's spare room. His wife went to stay with her sister. They told each other it was temporary. Neither of them fully believed it. One night, James was sitting alone at his brother's kitchen table. It was past midnight. He had a notebook in front of him, not a resume, not a job application. He started writing down everything he knew about the logistics business, the problems he had seen for years that nobody fixed, the routes that wasted money, the suppliers that always caused delays, the small clients the company always ignored because they were not worth the time. He filled 12 pages. Then he stopped and looked at what he had written. He did not need a job. He needed to start a business. Not a big one, just a small logistics consultancy, helping small businesses with exactly the problems nobody else was solving. He had no money, but he had 24 years of knowledge. And for the first time in months, he felt something he had forgotten: purpose. He started with one client, a small bakery that was losing money on deliveries. He fixed their routes in 2 weeks. They saved 30% on fuel costs. They told their friends. Clients just kept multiplying. 3, then 7, then 12. James worked from a folding table in his brother's bedroom. He charged fair prices. He answered every call himself. He treated every small business like it was the most important client in the world. Within a year, he was making more money than his old salary. Just 2 years later, he was already on his 5th hire. His wife moved back in. They rented a small apartment. It was nothing like the house they had lost. It felt but in the 3rd year, James got a call from a business broker. The company that had fired him was struggling. They had lost clients. Key people had left. They were looking for a buyer. The asking price was within reach. James thought about it for 1 day. Then he made an offer. It was accepted. On the day he signed the papers, he walked into the same building where a man had told him his position had been eliminated. He sat in the same chair. He looked around at the same walls. He did not feel angry. He did not feel like he had won a fight. He just felt grateful. Grateful that they had pushed him out the door. James Arthur lost his job at 52. He lost his home. He lost almost everything. But the worst moment of his life became the door to the best chapter of it. Sometimes, losing everything is the only way to find out what you were actually capable of. The ground has to break before anything new can grow. If you are going through something hard right now, hold on. Your story is not over.